and welcome to my channel, guys. I am April Honey, and today I will be making an island map. Now this island is my most recent island of Elemental. It was a Spring Core Christmas island, and I just released the dream address on the 23rd. And if you didn't see it, I will post the video link in the description. I'm super attached to that island. It was my No Nintendo Online Challenge island. It was really hard. It took a lot of dedication, and I'm very proud of how it came out. Like, I worked very hard on that island, and I actually really love how it came out. It was way more than I thought I was getting into, though. So if I ever do that challenge again, I'm not going to give myself a time limit on top of it. I'm going to just work on it until I feel like it's finished, instead of giving myself like a timestamp, because that made it a lot harder. Anyways, we're drawing a very simple island map here, and I'm going to talk to you about what I'm doing. The first thing I did was I outlined and colored in the top tier, the third level, and I work from the levels top to bottom, and I just add the layers underneath as I go. And you could do it from bottom to top and just hide the layers if you want. For me, mentally, it just works to go with the smallest to the biggest, just to kind of get them out of the way, because the top levels always have those like tiny little awkward shapes and stuff, and I just like getting those out of the way while my hands are fresh, because my hands lack dexterity and muscle tone, so I try to do the hardest things first. So yeah, I ended up doing that. This is a very simplified island map design. I worked on it for about, I would say about an hour and a half. It was one sitting, and if I took it and went continuous, it would have been an hour and a half of work, which I think is totally worth it when you come up with a map that you feel represents your island and is a pretty way to announce your dream address and post on social media. Not that I'm very great at posting on social media. I did make a post for my members, though, of the map in advance. And I will be posting this one on Instagram today. I'm really the worst at this. So I had planned on recording a video for the 24th and 25th for Vlogmas, and I didn't. And the reason that I didn't was because I underestimated how much work having 7 kids was. I know I should be used to that, right? But I've never tried to do Vlogmas, and I didn't have them recorded in advance because I was hit with COVID at the beginning of the month, so I was not able to like work in advance the way I normally do. And I was so far behind, and I was recording every video the day before it came out, and it was a little bit overwhelming. So when Christmas Eve came and it came time to like spend time with my family and stuff, I just didn't have it in me to like record on those days. Besides that, I would have been starting a new island because it's that time, and yeah, so I decided to like put it off and kind of enjoy Christmas with my family, and then start back at it right afterwards, you know. Also because this is something that I love to do. It's something that is my hobby, something I enjoy. I love the community that happened because of it. So it's something that I do out of love. I don't want it to feel like work or like something that I have to do, because I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are like my people. You're my favorite people like out there. You're my favorite strangers in the entire world, but I feel like we're friends. I talk to you guys in the comments, and I just feel like we are friends. So after I did the top and the second tier, of course I went down to the main tier, and I just did a quick outline. Then I outlined it again with a bigger brush, and then after I did that, I came in with a huge brush and then colored it all in. I like to do this coloring by hand. There is a fill tool. If you want to use a smooth brush, like a monoline brush, and the fill tool will take it all the way up to the edges like a very clean brush, I use a chalk brush to give like a little bit of texture and for it to be like not as perfect. I just like that. And then I used the option to change the color because I thought I wanted it in that gingerbready color and it ended up being like a little too pink looking for my taste. So I ended up changing it to like a spring green, which I felt like suited my island. And then I went in for the bridges. Now the bridges, I just make one and then I angle it and section it off and put it around the island. And then I went and did the inclines, and the way I did those was I just colored in a rectangle and then I put in clear lines across it, just kind of like this, and then just to make it look like it had I don't know, stairs. I don't know. I just think it's cute and I like doing it. So that's it. That was my reasoning. And then I just twist that around and I place them everywhere that there is an incline. On this island, I did use all 10 inclines because there's a lot of terraforming on this island, way more than I usually do. And then I have this template that I use for my map symbols. If you're interested in this template or if you would like it, they're my own hand personal drawings. So, but if you would like the layers of that in order to use for your own map, then let me know and I would be happy to post like a Google file thingy, you know, a Google Drive folder, so that you guys can go ahead and just use like my map symbols and stuff if you don't want to draw your own. I chose to do stockings for this particular map. I thought it would be cute because it's a spring core Christmas to do little pink stockings. I just thought it would be cute. There's no rhyme or reason to that. It was just a preference of mine. I just thought it would be fun. So yeah, I went it with a pink, and then I saw how like yellowy the grass was when I put that pink down. So I went and made it a little bit more green. There's like a slight hue change there that I went with, and I had so much trouble deciding the land colors. That always seems to be my biggest struggle. Now, I put 2 yachts on this lake, but I didn't really want to represent like every detail of the map because this is supposed to be a very quick way to do a map, and I didn't want to like overburden you with the hardest way possible. I changed my mind on the color stocking for my own house and put it facing the opposite direction so that it would indicate that it is a residence house and not just, you know, a house. And then I made these trees. I just experimented with a couple different things before I found something that I was happy with, which is basically a triangle, some polka dots, and a little line coming out of the bottom for a trunk. And then that one is just one with a garland. And then I just copy and paste these trees all over my map just for decoration. I just think they look cute. And that was it. Now, if you go to my island, the colors on the island are green, yellow, green, gold, and white, like an off-white. So I went ahead and used those colors on the map. The accent color is pink. So I thought having the houses in pink would be cute because there are splashes of pink throughout the island as well, just for a little bit of non-monochromatic kind of just like a little touch of something like visual interest. And then I went in and I drew in the roads. I went with a very simple single line type of route for my roads. I know, English, right? And then I did go with a dotted line to indicate places that like hidden paths, more hidden paths. And then I went and labeled all of the areas, the tree farm, photos with Santa, my sunken pathway leading to the back beach. I have a reindeer meadow, a cafe, and the toy store, just a bunch of little things. And I put a little like brush stroke behind it so that the words would stand out. After that, I went around the map and I added in the rocks and the beach sand. And these I did very simple. I added a layer below the layer of the grass, and then I went in with another layer below that and did the sand. So I ended up, experimenting with the color of the sand as well a little bit, and using the undo button, which I love the undo button, man. When I used to have to do real art, like, this is real art. But when I had to do like traditional art, there was no undo button. There wasn't. And then I went and filled in with the polka dot trees, well, the ornament trees, but they look polka dot trees. And a lot of the trees on the island are gold. I used a lot of the gold and green trees with a tiny splash of the illuminated ones in various colors and the pink ones. Then I played around with background colors, and for some reason, this is one of the hardest things I did, was background colors and the title. And for some reason, coming up with a background color was so hard. For some reason, nothing was working for me as far as color combinations. So then for a second, I just gave up on that, and I decided to do a background pattern. And what I did was I took my map symbols and I placed them in a way over 1/4 of the sheet. I put a background color there so that I'd be able to see what I was doing, because I don't know how to make the Procreate background not be that. Anyways, I just repeated those, and I took those squares and I repeated them down, and I decided that that was going to be like my background for maps. And then I reduced the opacity of it down so that it blended in with the map. And then on top of that layer, I went and colored in the water to be the lighter color of the pattern, and added a little bit of a glow around it so it would stand out. I used a linear burn overlay so that it would stand out a little bit, and then did the same for the dream address, added the name, added my profile picture, and we were done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed making it. I know you guys could be doing absolutely anything in the world, and you chose to spend a little time with me. I appreciate you so much for that. I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas as it is getting ready for 2023 in the best way possible, and I will see you next time. Bye.